right at the top we see Zinchenko in terms of passing carries. So there was a lot of things I enjoyed about the Arsenal versus Crystal Palace match. And one of those things are the performance of Zinchenko. Zinchenko played absolutely magnificent. And people might say that, listen, it's because it's an easy match. Crystal Palace played so easy. They were so weak on the day. This is why Zinchenko played the way he did. But I think there's a bit more to it. There's more to it. And I think it's credit to Arteta and credit to someone else. And we're going to take a look into the reason why Zinchenko plays so good, both defensively and offensively. And it's because of a particular individual, and I'm gonna wait till I'm doing the formation to show you the reasons why. And this is why sometimes I like to watch the stats. I like to look in the stats because you may see the match, you may watch the match, but you won't be able to pick up on certain things unless you look in the stats. And when I see this in the stats, I'm saying I didn't see this in the match, and then I had to go and watch again, and that's when I said, oh, it does line up. So we're gonna get into some stats today. We're gonna get into some stats and how individual players played and the team collectively, and see how we could improve going forward and what we did improve on compared to the last previous three matches. So first off, we're going to go into the formation. We see David Raya came back in goal for Ramsdale. Ramsdale had a nice outing, but that's it. Raya's back in goal. And for me, Raya's getting more and more confident. If you remember that long ball he threw in to Jesus, and Jesus set up Trossard for Trossard's goal, and that was a magnificent break. And with these are the things we see normally see Raya does for Brentford. And it's taken a long time, but he's starting to get into his stride. He's starting to get into the feel. He's starting to integrate into the team. And this is what I'm saying, that sometimes it's difficult to interact. Sometimes it's difficult to fit into a team that don't really need you or needed you, because we had Ramsdale. Ramsdale was good so far, but I believe Raya is a next level above Ramsdale. But when you see when Ramsdale was playing, the team was high-fiving him. The team still love Ramsdale. So it's difficult sometimes to for you as a newcomer to fit in, and knowing that everyone still love that player that you're trying to replace. So I believe that Raya was having a difficult time, but he's been performing good after late. So when you take a look at Benjamin White, he's 7.5, Saliba 7, and Gabriel Magalhaes, brilliant performance for me, man of the match. Zinchenko with an 8.2, not so far behind in terms of man of the match performance. And then we're going to go into the Zinchenko deeper in a few slides. See Kai Havertz, the worst person on the pitch, 6.7, and I'm going to tell you the reasons why. For me, it was the worst player on the pitch, and the stats says he's the worst player on the pitch as well, but I'm going to tell you reasons why when I get more deeper into the stats. Declan Rice with a 7.3, Martin Odegaard with a 6.9. That's a poor rating for Martin Odegaard, which you can understand why he didn't do much in the match. Trossard with a 7, getting a goal, and Gabriel J with an 8.5. That's a brilliant. Apart from Martinelli got a rating of 8.9, and he wasn't on he's not on there because this is a starting lineup. But Martinelli got a rating of 8.9, and that's because he scored 2 goals. Now Gabriel J didn't score any goal. He didn't, and he got an 8.5. That show you that everything else he done was brilliant. He just didn't get his goal. Saka was a 7.4, which is a poor rating for a player like Saka's level. So we scored 5 goals, and the XG was 2.5. And for me, that was good because we doubled our XG in terms of goals. So for me, that was brilliant. But when you take a look at the shots on target, now from 6, that's poor, because to have 22 shots and having 6 on target, for me, that I always say that you should have a minimum of half the shots on target that you take. And even though you can look at it 2 ways, that the fact that we had 6 shots on target and had 5 goals, that's clinical. However, the fact that we had 20 shots on goal and only had 6 on target, that's poor, right? So you depending on what agenda you have, or depending on what side of the coin you're trying to focus on, it could look on both ways. But for me, I'm going to always look at the fact that you cannot have 22 shots and only have 6 on target. You need to have more on target. Now, once again, if you have more on target, you're going to have more goals. And it's not the fact that we were over clinical for scoring 5 goals with 6 on target. You can look at it this way, that we scored 5 goals with 22 shots on goal, which should be normal, right, for a big team like Arsenal with big players. So for me, I look at it more that way than the other way around. Now, when you take a look at possession, we had 60.6 compared to Crystal Palace 39.4. And once again, that's poor for Arsenal, because once again, you have to look at things different. I won't say poor. I correct myself. I won't say poor because I believe that Arteta had a unique tactics that he went into this match with, and I'm going to tell you why. So when I started to see these, I'm saying, interesting. Because the way we played, it didn't look like that, right? It didn't look like we only had 60. Because I say only because normally we dominate possession with about 74 to 75 possession. And it's the same thing with field tilt. Field tilt was 69.9. Normally we're over 75, 74 field tilt. And Crystal Palace was poor. So when we play against good team, I would understand having these stats. But playing against Crystal Palace that was so poor in the night, and our possession was so poor. Playing at home as well, playing at the Emirates, possession was lower than expected. Playing against a poor team, field tilt was lower than expected. Playing against us, a weaker team, a team that didn't show up in any position at all. They played okay. Mitchell played okay for them, and Eze. Those are the two best players. And Guy, it was okay as well. Now, when you take a look at the passes, we had 580 passes with 496 being completed, which is a good ratio comparing to previous matches where we dominate. And when you take a look at dribbles now, we had 8 dribble, 5 being successful compared to Crystal Palace 23 and 13. Now, once again, for having basically dominated the match and only having 8 dribble attempts and 5 being successful compared to Crystal Palace that lost the match with 23 attempts and 13 being successful, that makes you ponder. That makes you have to wonder what happened in this match. What really happened? Even though we were watching it live, even though we were taking it in, and some of us are enjoying it, some of us was saying that, listen, we need to do more. This stat shows that something else was going on. Something else was going on, was basically in the background. Something else was happening. When you take a look at tackles, we had 29, 16 being successful. Crystal Palace had 16 and 11 being successful. So we have more attempts and tackles, and we have more successful tackles than Crystal Palace. Interception, we doubled them as well. Now, when you take a look at the passing map, this is another interesting thing I saw. Now, we're going to start from the defense. We see, first of all, we see that Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes, they're very far apart. This is the furthest apart I've seen them when we play them together. I've never seen this before. Once again, that's what I'm saying. This is a strategy that Mikel Arteta set up to counterattack certain deficiencies in the team. Now, I know you notice what I'm seeing right now. I know you can see what I'm seeing right now. The big gap is a massive red flag. However, the way that Saliba covered Mateta, he didn't have much joy in the match. Saliba covered him, and sometimes I see him going over to Gabriel, trying to get some joy over Gabriel's side. Once again, Gabriel locked him down. Gabriel was so brilliant. He was so confident in defending. He was so confident in attacking. Gabriel was brilliant overall. But because they were so wide, I see sometimes that Declan Rice filling in. Once again, you won't notice this on watching it live, because these things you normally just in the back four anyways. But the fact that Gabriel Magalhaes was an average playing over this side so much, you wouldn't have seen that in the match. Well, some Eagle Eye fan would, but most of the time you're not going to focus on individual things because you're trying to watch the game collectively. So the stats show me something interesting, and I've been crying out for this. I'm saying that, listen, there's so many teams that have worse left backs than Arsenal, but yet still the managers find a way to protect them. And it's the same thing with Tottenham. Postecoglou, they play a high line, and most of the time they're always covering each other. And I don't understand why Arteta find it different. Same thing with Liverpool. Liverpool is a prime example. Trent is a right back that attacks a lot, but yet still Liverpool always got someone. When we played against Liverpool, the reason why Martinelli didn't rip Trent is because Sabazza keep on drifting in on that side. So basically Sabazza and Trent were playing together. They were defending together at the right back position, and they were attacking together in centre mid. And that was superb managerial work from Klopp. This is why my level for Klopp has went up as a tactician, because I didn't really see him as that person. But now, when I saw that match against us, the way I saw him utilize Sabazza, I'm saying, nah, I have to give Klopp bigger ratings than what I have for him. And it's the same thing I see Arteta doing. Arteta learnt, and I'm happy because I've been saying that he need to do something to protect Zinchenko. And you can see an average Gabriel Magalhaes is playing directly in line with Zinchenko, and that means that he's prepared to cover Zinchenko. He's not playing in the middle. He's not playing close to Saliba because he knows that if anything happens, he need to go over quickly to cover Zinchenko. And in return, Declan Rice can cover him in midfield. And I love to see that because this utilized Zinchenko in a different way. This is why Zinchenko was basically almost on par for the man of the match. This is why he played so brilliant. Because even though he defended well, and we're going to get into his defensive stats. Even though he defended well, he didn't have to concentrate too much on defending. He can basically be free-flowing. He can go back and forth, basically being that Trent, playing that Trent role. And even so, Gabriel covering Zinchenko, it didn't take away from his gameplay. He still was magnificent on the day. For me, the man of the match, scoring 2 goals. Well, one, and they tried to take away the other one, but for me, scoring 2 goals on the day and basically breaking the deadlock. So Gabriel had a superb match, even though he had to cover Zinchenko. And this is what I'm saying, that for me, this season, he's our biggest leader. He is the leader for us this season. Because to be covering not just another player, to covering another player and add the man of the match performance, doing that, and scoring goals, and being aggressive in terms of the attacker that you're marking. Overall, this guy was leading us from a very long time, and I'm happy to say, I've been screaming this for a long time. We as fans need to respect him more. We need to put some respect on Gabriel Magalhaes' name, and I believe that we're starting to do that. I can hear in the fan base that a lot of fans starting to highlight this, that listen, we've really taken this guy for granted, and if we don't starting to appreciate him soon, he's gonna, if a big offer comes, he might think about it, because we appreciate William Saliba, but we don't appreciate Gabriel Magalhaes as much as he should be appreciated. So I'm saying that this guy, and even when Amar came on the channel, he's saying that, listen, Gabriel Magalhaes should have been the captain before Odegaard, and I totally agree. I believe that I thought he would have been the captain when we got rid of Xhaka, because he's the longest serving player, and when you talk about the new regime, he's the longest serving player, and he's the most capable, and he's not shy. He's very aggressive, he's very forceful, he's very encouraging. He's got everything to be a captain. So I thought he would be the captain. However, Arteta different plans. When you see this is the first time I'm seeing this in midfield as well. A 3 in midfield, rotating in midfield. I've never seen this. The 2 attacking mids playing together on average in midfield. Normally we see Havertz over the left hand side, but because Gabriel is covering Zinchenko can play higher up, and that allowed Trossard to play higher up as well. So that is like a trickling effect on the left hand side, and that allowed Havertz to come in midfield. It's the same thing with Odegaard. Odegaard don't normally play this position. Odegaard is normally on top of Saka, and they're playing the little 1-2s together, having Benjamin White to overlap. But this is why it was a bit struggling for Saka, because he wasn't having much help. Even though this open a lot of passing lanes, because I see that Benjamin White, his vision is improving a lot. I've seen him done a few through passes that Saka got onto, tried to cross into Jesus, but he didn't get through. And this is another thing that I would like to see an improvement on. There is no passing lane between Saka and Jesus. He tried it. As you remember, that the crossfield pass that he tried to give to Jesus for a tap-in, it was intercepted. But apart from that, there was no attempt. I didn't see, well, he done a few crosses, but there was no passing lane between Jesus and Saka. And as a striker, I believe that there needs to be more. Going on to Jesus, this is the first time I'm seeing playing this advanced, going up beyond the attacking players, going beyond the wingers. This is the first time I'm seeing him play this position, and hopefully it's a sign of good things coming, because I know he's been seeing the links. I know he's been looking at everyone moaning that we need a striker, and he has to feel a certain way. Being that he's our striker, he has to feel a certain way. That, listen, they, even though they got me, I'm not doing my job enough, that they want to find another striker. So hopefully he can improve his goal scoring record and starting to play higher up the pitch, because every single match is normally drifting in midfield, and he's good at that, but he needs to have a different dimension to his game. Now moving on to Zinchenko stats, we see he had 2 clearances, 1 interception, 5 tackles, 3. He was only dribbled past 3 times, which is unheard of for Zinchenko. Normally it's about 5. Normally it's about 10 times he's been dribbled past. So that's very good. And when you take a look at tackles, that's what I'm saying. His defensive, it was good for his standard. The defensive display he had against Crystal Palace was very good for his standards. When you take a look at ground duels, this is another thing I loved. His duels have improved, because he had 13 opportunities at ground duels, and he had 9. He was successful 9 times. Aerial duels. He won 4 out of 5 aerial duels. This is not normally like Zinchenko. So that's why I'm saying that he's improved defensively and he's improved attacking. And I believe that having Gabriel covering, knowing that Gabriel was there to cover him, gave him confidence to go forward, gave him confidence to play the way he wants to play. And that's very important with a technical player like Zinchenko, when you give him freedom to play the way he wants to play and not restrict him to the way that the manager wants him to play. All the time, I should say. Now, he lost possession 13 times, which is not a big deal because he was brave enough to take a lot of chances. He was brave enough to try a lot of different things. He had 104 touches and once. That's a brilliant indication to see how dominant he was or how important he was on the ball for us to have 104 touches. And his passing was 80. He made 88 passing attempts. The 79 being successful, and that's a 90% rate, and that shows you that he was absolutely magnificent when it comes down to one of our best passers in the team for this match, and overall he normally is. Key passes, he had 1 crosses, he had 1 long ball, he had 4. Now these were the 5 best players in the match. So you see Gabriel, he had 3 tackles and 12 out of 14 passes, and something that we don't normally see Gabriel Martinelli does is tackling, and he had 3 tackles, which is brilliant. Yes, sometimes he scored, yes, sometimes he assists, but he doesn't normally get involved in the dirty work. And this is what I'm saying, that we're starting to play as a team, we're starting to play as a unit. I see Saka tracking back just to cover Benjamin White, so the opposition don't have crosses inside the box. And I see the same thing when Martinelli comes on, even though he's so fast that he's up the field in the blink of an eye. That's so quick he is, but he gets back and help the defense as well. And take a look at Jesus. This is what we've been missing from Jesus, and this is why I believe that one of the reasons why he's the second best player on the pitch, because it's duels. And this is something that I'm criticizing Havertz for. Havertz is the poorest on the pitch because what he is normally good at is duels. He's normally our second or best or second best player in terms of duels. It would be either Jesus or Havertz. And we haven't seen Havertz winning duels in this match. And this is why even the score rating shows you that he was poor. Because if you're normally good at something and that's all you're good at most of the times, and you don't do that in the match, you're gonna be poor. You are gonna be poor. The stats is gonna say you're poor, and the eye test is gonna say you've been poor. When it comes to Magalhaes are the same as the 2 Gabriel are the same. You see, the 3 Gabriels are on top of the league. The 3 Brazilian are on top of the leader table in terms of the best players for this match. Brazilians are coming with a fire. But Magalhaes having 13 attempts and 8 being successful in terms of duels. When you take a Zinchenko, we talk about Zinchenko already. Zinchenko having the best record in terms of duel winning, which is 9. Everyone else, which is Jesus and Magalhaes, having 8 each, which is successful. All 3 having 13 attempts. And this is something I've seen that Zinchenko has improved on, and I have to give him props for that. I have to give Zinchenko props because I've been critical of him that he's weak and he's lazy. Jorginho only playing 17 minutes, still had a brilliant turnout, having 1 assist. He came on and got an assist. He done 2 tackles. He done 29 out of 26 out of 29 passes at a 90% successful rate, and he won 2 out of 3 duels. Now for me, that's a brilliant return, only coming on 7 minutes on the pitch. And whenever we're winning, a player like Jorginho will always be beneficial, but when you're losing, not all the time he is. Now this Jorginho is one of the best progressive passer in Europe, and this shows you that he was the best on the pitch. The progressive passes, Jorginho came out on top, and this is what I'm saying, that when we were on top, he will show you his qualities. But when the problem is when you play against bigger team and he's not shining so much. Now another person we have to give credit is the set piece coach, right? And we see that I hear the commentator criticizing him that because Arteta, when there's a corner for our games, he comes forward, Arteta dress backs. And then when it's gone, then he dress back, Arteta comes forward. And I hear the commentator criticizing him. But listen, who cares? Why are they so? They have so much opinion on things that's to me it's not important. Who cares if Arteta wants it to be like that? Who are you to judge? Why are you getting involved? Why have you got opinion on the matter? It's not like it made the team any worse. It made the team better. So I have to give him big credit, coach, big credit because we have the 3rd highest XG set piece in the league, and we score the most goals from it, which is 12. That's a brilliant outcome. Now this is Gabriel Magalhaes' goal. Few things I want to highlight is that the Crystal Palace had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players. 7 players. Arsenal had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 7 against 5. Another thing. So 7 against 5. Obviously there was 2 players that's doubly marking, right? It's two player. So obviously one has the front post and with William Saliba. Now look at Trossard. This is something I love about Trossard. Trossard is holding back two man. Anderson, which is a very good header of the ball. Trossard is holding him back, and Schlupp. I love to see that. Trossard is like this is like your tactical awareness. You know that you need to give your best header a run on the ball, so you hold these back. And man, I love to see that from Trossard, man. And it's not just one time. Once again, this is what I'm saying. The set piece coach knows exactly what he's doing. The first time we see that Gabriel got a run in and Trossard holding him back, and Gabriel dart at the far post, right? William Saliba went to the near post. Now in the second one, we see the same thing where William Saliba is marked by two men at the near post. So by default, one's going to be at the near post already, marking the near post. And then another person is marking him. So that's two person. By going to the near post, two person is marking him. Gabriel J, someone is on Klein is marking. Benjamin White is always on the keeper. And someone has to be trying to shield him from the keeper. And, they have to leave a few players up for the counter-attack, which is Eze and Hughes. So Gabriel is with one-on-one. Because Trossard, once again, is marking the two same players. No. In this instance, he's marking Mitchell and Anderson. But before he was marking Schlupp and Anderson. And this I'm telling you that this set piece coach is brilliant. He is very good tactical to be. And once again, Gabriel darting at the back post, getting that goal, because Gabriel Magalhaes is our best header of the ball, attacking and defensively, I would say. And we see that this guy. This set piece coach, man, he should get a raise. I tell you, he should get a raise, because we've been we scored 12 goals this season by set piece, highest than I've never known Arsenal to be the best team in terms of set piece, scoring set pieces. Normally these teams that don't play beautiful football, but we see that we're mixing up the goals, which I love to see. And another thing is that we have the lowest XG conceded, meaning the lowest goal to be conceded against us by set piece. Once again, because of the set piece coach. So he should be praised for his work going forward with the team, set piece going forward, attacking and defensive set play when we're on the defensive or on the back foot. So we're on top of, man. That's something we need to take very lightly. That's something that we can't take very lightly. Now, when you take a look at this, Brighton, Arsenal and Liverpool also conceded 5 goals from set piece. We come third in set piece conceded, which is 5 goals. We're in par with Liverpool. And Liverpool, they got Van Dijk. They've got Konate. They got some two players. They've got two players. So, and basically, they've got the best defensive record in the league. They've got conceded 18. We've conceded 20. And we're on par with them in terms of set piece goal conceded. So, for me, man, I love to see stats like this. This gives me confidence in going forward as a team to say that, listen, we can play different games. We can score different ways. And I love it. Now, when you take a look at ball progression and carry, this is what I'm saying. Zinchenko come above. Zinchenko looks like he's bursting through the top of the ceiling. He's literally bursting through the top of the chart. Right at the top, we see Zinchenko in terms of passing carries. When you take a look at Crystal Palace, now you see Anderson and Guy. Now, that is an indicator to show you that the two centre-backs have the best ball progression in terms of passing carries. That shows you how defensive they were. That shows you how much on the back foot they were, that they couldn't get in forward enough to get their main attacking players up the pitch to basically challenge us in terms of the ball progression. But once again, big shout out to Zinchenko, turning up in different stats, showing up and different stats. I have to give this guy credit, because when he's poor, I am one of the main ones that criticize him heavily. So when he's good, I'm going to give him his flowers. Now, when you take a look at zone 14, we have 25 in zone 14 touches, and normally it's about 14. So we almost double those zone 14 touches. And once again, it's because of that 3 midfield. You've got Havertz, you got Odegaard, and then you got Declan Rice in the anchor. And that makes a massive difference, because normally Odegaard is on the right in the half space. And even so, we see 50 in the half space. That's still double, because normally in the half space is about 25 or 30, and or 35. And now we see 50, so it's almost double in both positions. So this is it. Arteta got the team to go forward better, because Gabriel Magalhaes is covering Zinchenko, so Zinchenko can attack more. William Saliba is sitting. Declan Rice is sitting. So Saka and Benjamin White can attack on the right, and Zinchenko and Trossard attack on the left. And Martin Odegaard and Kai Havertz can basically sit in the middle and be that creator, that link up player in the zone 14. So I love to see that, because this makes us a lot more balanced. And going forward, I would love to see the team staying like this in the future, because when a team is like this, I have every confidence in my team. I have every confidence in my player that we can basically beat any team when we have a full balanced team, especially when Partey gets back, especially when Timber gets back. So that's the video, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Help me on my journey to 1,000 subs. For those of you have not got your bell notification turned on, make sure you turn on your bell notification, because sometimes YouTube mess about in terms of recommendation, the suggestion with the videos. Sometimes it doesn't come up for you when I post a video, so that's why it's very important to keep your notification bell on. And big up to all of you that's got your notification bells on. Big up to all of you, even when YouTube try to block the progress in terms of not reminding people, not sending out recommendation. People still show up and watch my content. I'm appreciative. I'm much appreciative for that. So catch you next video, guys. Goodbye.